What's going on, everybody? It's your boy QuestX coming back at you once again with another one. And, as you guys can see from the title, as you can see from this picture, I know it's going to make a lot of Demetrius Andrade fans, if he has any, a little uncomfortable, but it's something that needs to be said. Shout out to Black Fight Fan TV. He's the one who broke the story, I believe, informing everyone that Demetrius Andrade is running around claiming that all Texas fighters are on performance-enhancing drugs. A sentiment that, like Black Fight Fan TV, Demetrius has echoed in the past. And, okay, this needs to be said about Demetrius Andrade. It's something that I spoke about with the brother Reef the Watcher. I had did a video where I'd said, watching the debut of the stellar lineup that Eddie Hearn had signed to his stable. I hate using the word stable. I really do, especially in coordinates with this video and what this is about. But I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't like, and something that I pointed out in that video, I said I did not like the way that Demetrius Andrade conducted himself at that press release. He was hopping all around on stage. Even at one time when people were asking questions about Deontay Wilder, he would sit there and just acting like he had no common sense. And now I had said this in my prior video that, I didn't like the way he conducted himself. Now, Reef believed that maybe he might have been a little liquored up. But this again, one time you act a fool, I can say, okay, listen, maybe you might have had a little bit too much. And then the second time you start doing stuff and foolishness and backstabbing and saying things, because remember, this is the same guy who was like trying to co-sign that Earl Spence was on performance enhancing drugs and was talking crap about Earl Spence. And then he goes and he does this effeminate video with him in the dark, and with his shirt off and just creepy things. And if you Google Demetrius Andrade, his pictures, he does really weird things. I'm going to be honest with you. Demetrius Andrade is right at home. He feels right at home with Eddie Hearn, because Eddie Hearn is the type of person that a mindset such as Demetrius Andrade, he will never ever challenge Eddie Hearn. He will never ever see. I kind of had a feeling Demetrius was going to sign with Eddie Hearn, and here's what gave it away. Around the time that Eddie Hearn spoke about that he was seeking to sign some American fighters, I think it was about 2-3 days later, Demetrius posted on his Twitter account that he was seeking to become a free agent. And then when he made this public announcement that, oh, I'm a free agent, almost like he was auctioning himself off, right? Instead of being your own man, your own boss, especially since he claimed he had such a raw deal before, what does he do? He seeks a master. He seeks somebody who can control him, tell him what to do, And I'm going to be honest with you. Go back and you watch any of those videos for the coverage of the press release of the DAZN thing in the States. Demetrius Andrade is acting like a court jester, hopping all around the podium and doing weird poses. And when he's walking alongside Anthony Joshua, he's yelling at the press and just the court jester. That's what Eddie Hearn signed. He signed him a good old boy that will do whatever he tells him to do and how he tells him to do it. And to me, here's what's going to happen now from Demetrius Andrade. Listen, I said that you're at the precipice. I did a video and I said that you're at the precipice. This is do or die for you. Okay? Instead of sitting up there, and this is what doesn't make any sense to me. Instead of sitting there taking your own career in your own hands, why would you sign with someone whose particular motive, however which way he pitched it to you, he still has to work to break into this market. You chose to sign with a person whose fights are going to be exclusively on an app that the American media is not soaking up. It's not buying. The American boxing fan is not buying. So you still going to suffer. And the only thing I can sit there and say is that Demetrius Andrade is not bright. He is not a bright individual. He is not a studious person. He is somebody who he wants to work for somebody the rest of his life, all his life. He has no objectivity when it comes to being able to sit there and say, I'm going to take the reins of my career. None whatsoever. And this pains me to say it because I believe that this guy has talent. I believe that he has the skill set. But Demetrius Andrade, if you look at his career, you know, as much as we want to talk about, as much crap as I talk about Danny Garcia, Demetrius, oh boy, you have fallen way short. Okay, I don't think I've ever seen anybody with your fight schedule ever in the history of boxing. Ever. I think Chino Maidana has fought more than you in the last 5 years than you fought. And that's just being real. Man, think about that. That's all I got to say. Demetrius Andrade is a good old boy, Fatty Hearn. He will do it and say and parrot whatever he's told to do and say. And it is what it is. But don't come crying when your asses end up broke and you ain't got nothing no more. Because I'm going to tell you right now, you know, promoters, regardless of who it is, this doesn't just mean Eddie Hearn. This is Eddie Hearn. This is Bob Arum. This is the myriad of promoters, Don King, in the history of boxing. When they done with you, they done with you. When you've served your purpose, they're finished with you. So you got to think about that, Demetrius. You got to think about that.